Hello, this is my first attempt at making a YouTube video because I wanted to try it and I'm very scared to post this and I don't know if I will. We'll see. I'm probably not gonna fancy edit it or anything. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. But right now I'm just gonna film a video of me talking. And I'm going to be talking about annotating because I feel like that's something that a lot of people really struggle with and have a hard time with. And it's really not something that you need to have a hard time with. It's something that can be very joyful, very useful when reading books. So I want to make this video to kind of help people understand annotating better if they feel like they haven't. So to start with, I'm going to be talking about what I do when I first read a book. So right now I'm reading Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and what I do when I first read a book is I simply read it and I write down my thoughts. I write down the things I'm thinking about, sometimes even the emotions I feel, or even what I'm doing. Like in Wuthering Heights, there's a couple pages where I was like, I'm at a bagel shop right now, and I just wrote that at the top of the page. You know, like you kind of want to turn your books into scrapbooks a little bit when you're annotating. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. I write connections to things. I write things that I find relatable, especially in this book. I'm really finding the narrator very relatable, and so I'm writing down like, oh my gosh, I've done that too, or oh my gosh, I also have the same thought process. That's really interesting, stuff like that. But it doesn't even need to be complicated. Like, it can just be like underlining your favorite things. I personally don't usually use highlighters just because I think it's a hassle to carry around 2 pieces of writing utensils. Like, I'd rather just use a pen. Also, the pens I use are the Pilot G2 0.38 size because it's super small, so you can write a lot in there. So yeah, that's what I recommend as far as utensils, writing utensils. Oh, I have it right here. This is it. Highly recommend this pen. And what's nice about these is you can get them in a bunch of different colors, because what I also like to do is the second time I read a book, I annotate in a different color. So for Carmilla, the second time I read this book, I annotated in red, and the first time I read it, I annotated in black. And I think that's really interesting because you can see sort of what your thought processes, how your thought processes have changed since you first read a book, right? And so I find that really helpful, and especially you can sort of go back to what you were thinking before and draw off of it. I did that a lot in Frankenstein because I read it when I was 15, and then I reread it again when I was like 20 or 19 or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't know what this word was. And I was like, because I had circled all the words I didn't know, and so I would like write in a different pen and be like, wow, I can't believe I didn't know what this meant. Now I do, and now it's in my daily vocabulary. That's kind of cool. So it's just stuff like that that I find really joyful when annotating. My most annotated book is Wuthering Heights. If you're really interested in tabbing, here's what I recommend. Having a guide at the front of your book of all of the different meanings for your tabs. Mine's like super chaotic because I like ran out of tabs, so I have like 2 colors for certain things. And I also tabbed so much in this book, as you can see, but I had a lot of thoughts. Honestly, I don't even remember doing it. I don't even remember if I tabbed them on my reread or if I tabbed them after my reread. I think it was both. But I mean, tabbing books is kind of a hassle, in my opinion. For me, I struggle with it because you have to carry around the little flags and they fall off of the little sticky thing and then you lose them. So I don't like to tab books the first time I read a book because it takes away from the enjoyment. I know that's not true for other people, and I'm definitely not saying that you shouldn't tab books when you first read them. I think if you want to, you definitely should. I do think, however, that it is harder to know what to look for and what to annotate for the first time you read a book. Like, for instance, in Dracula, I knew nothing going into this, so I didn't tab anything when I first read it. But what I did do is I wrote in it, and I'm trying to find one. I dog-eared the pages that I liked the best. So this was like a beautiful description that I really liked. And I have one of the marriage proposals bookmarked because I loved that. So yeah, that's what I recommend. It's sort of like taking the time to really just love the book and appreciate the book. And it definitely makes it easier if you're reading a book as part of a discussion with other people. If you are looking to tab, for example, when I read Jane Eyre, I knew that I was going to be reading it for school, so I tabbed like vocabulary, I tabbed just like themes throughout the book. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I tabbed themes throughout the book that my like teacher had told me, okay, look for this, like the setting, how Jane expresses emotions. My cat's getting in the video. Oh, this is gonna be so rough. Okay. So yeah, it's definitely, but also you should always have at least one tab that's your favorite quotes. That's my advice. Also, you can use sticky notes if you have extra thoughts that can't keep on the page. What's also nice is you can have clear sticky notes. So here, let me find it. Why can't I find it? It should, oh, there it is. Lost it again. Give me a second. It'll be worth it. Clear sticky notes. So if you want to do something like this in your book, you can do it without like damaging it. I mean, some of these are real. Some of them are on the sticky notes, just so that I can take them off when I want to reread. But honestly, I have quite a few copies of Wuthering Heights. I think when I reread, I'm going to read a different copy of it. Just so I don't have to deal with taking these off and putting them back on. But clear sticky notes are really good. What I found, though, is that the best tool to use, like the best writing utensil to use for clear sticky notes, is like a fine line Sharpie, because they smudge the least. Like these, you don't want to use these on clear sticky notes. It doesn't work, trust me. Pencil works okay, but it kind of rubs off. So like I said, I would suggest a fine line Sharpie for that. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything I want to say. This is gonna be such an awkward video. Thank you so much if you watched this long. I've been thinking about doing YouTube for like a little bit now, just because I have been wanting to sort of talk more in videos, and I like the formatting of YouTube, of course, but I don't have any fancy equipment. I mean, my phone isn't even on a tripod right now. It's propped up on a pillow. So I've been really nervous about starting. So if you've watched this video, I really appreciate it. Please, please comment if you have any questions or any concerns about my annotating. And I will be happy to answer them. And I will give an in-depth response if you need more clarification on anything that I brought up. I really hope that my mic worked, because I'm just using my AirPods because I don't have a little microphone, and I'm really hoping you can actually hear me. So we'll see.